YouTubers, here's Maya from the UK. Today it's going to be a DIY project, and today it's going to be a kitchen DIY project. Today we are making apple cider vinegar. I'm nearly run out of mine. You know this well-known company, I'm sure you do, and I've not got that much left. So I'm going to start my own. So let's get started. You can use any apples that you like, but I have in here, I have soaked my apples in some distilled vinegar, just to make sure there aren't any creepy crawlies and such. Oops, sorry if I'm making you all dizzy. And there we go. So I have my apples. I don't know how many of those I will be using. I have here mason jars. These are all different shapes and sizes because I have different shapes and sizes. These are Kilner ones. And I have Sterilock lids, okay, for fermenting. Because I haven't got back into the fermenting business really again, so this is going to be the first kind of ferment, and that's how you do it. You ferment the apples to get apple cider vinegar. And I have still in my cupboard some brown fair trade sugar, which I will be using, and some water. Distilled is best, or at least clean water. Right, so this is super easy. I'll start off with my biggest jar. I'll put it here to the side. Oh, and you'll need a cloth or something to cover the jars, because it likes to ferment in the dark, so not in the bright sunlight. So here we go. Right, all you do is chop up your apples. You can use green ones, red ones, whatever color, pips and all, it doesn't really matter. So you chop these up into pieces and you just fill them into your jar as you go. Keep track of how many apples you've put into there. So this is one. And the fermenting process, I would say minimum of 2 weeks. 4 weeks is good, and up to maybe even 3 months, depending on what you're also using your apple cider vinegar for. I use it for many things in the household, for cleaning, for rinsing my hair, for washing the dogs, for disinfecting. I did say cleaning, didn't I? Shake it down. So that's 2. So if you've got old apple cider vinegar and it's been already fermenting quite a long time, then you can use it definitely for your hair and for cleaning if you don't like the taste. It will get very, very tart. So you check what is best for you. After about 14 days, I tend to take the apple pieces out and just let it ferment on its own for the rest. So I think I can get a third one in, full third one. That was 2.5. Let's see if I press this down, munch this down a bit. You don't want to fill it right up to the top, because you've still got the water to go on. Right, okay, so I'm up to about here, a little bit over, but that can be pressed down. Okay. If you already have a mother, then all you have to do is put the mother on top afterwards. So that was 3 apples in this big one, and per apple I use 1 teaspoon of sugar, thereabouts. 1, 2, because that will help the fermentation. 3. Okay, then I'm also going to add let me see, a tablespoon of already vinegar. You don't have to do this, it just speeds it up a little bit. 1 tablespoon of apple cider vinegar into that. And now fill it up with water. I've got room temperature water, preferably not cold and also not hot. Right, you want to cover the apples. Okay, there. Right, I have now, I'll bring this up closer so you can see. I hope it doesn't wobble too much. The stand is wobbly. Okay, let me see. Okay, can you see the level? So, down here is the apple, and the water is only a few millimeters above that. That's enough, and there's half a thumbnail left of air there. All right. Oops. Oh, I don't know what's with this. I'm sorry, guys. Okay, so now on I pop my lid. Right. There you go. And let that ferment. Let's just dry the bottom off, so I don't want stains on my countertop. Put it to the side. Next one. And there you go. So that's how easy you do it. And there's nothing more to it than that, really. You don't, some people pre-dilute the sugar. I don't think it's really that necessary. It will dilute on its own. If you push it down, the water will dilute it in time and it will start feeding on that. So that's all you have to do. Wait 14 days and you get something like this. As simple as that. Organic, you know what's in there, exactly what's in there. And you can, if you want sweeter or more fermented, you can add a little more sugar, but I don't like to. I think this is about as little as you can get away with. That is necessary for the fermenting process. You might need a tiny bit more if you have super sour apples, but otherwise then I'd maybe add, after you've added the amount of apples, so a teaspoon per apple, if you maybe add then to the end maybe half a teaspoon to that. That should do it. But to your taste, however, honey in this case does not work, so do not try with honey. Okay, raw or any otherwise, it does not work. So I will see you another day. That was a very short video on how to make organic raw apple cider vinegar. And once I have a good mother, I will show you that in another video, but that'll take some time. Okay, bye. I just wanted to show you another trick. I know I said goodbye, but anyway, if you see, I can't get another half apple in here or even a full one. So what you see, there's the apples will tend to float up. So what I've done, I've covered those with water And just to keep them down, I've just sprinkled up some cling film just on top like that. Best would be if you have glass, but I don't think I have. I will just check. If you have a little glass, that would be even better. Hang on. Cling film is not perfect, but it works. I do think I might have a glass. Let me see if this fits. Okay. No, this won't fit because it's too wide at the top. So cling film will work. Just to keep it below the water surface. That's all you're trying to do. Screw the lid on top and done. Okay, if you do not have Sterilox, then you've got your Kilner jar, just normal with these type of lids. These are really old. They're actually still from my mother-in-law, and she had them for ages, so that's why they look like this. Okay, so you take then, you put all your apples in and do the same as you did before. You just then take, most probably half of this, tell you the truth. So you take half of one of these paper towels, and it doesn't have to be neat or anything. So take half of these paper towels and just screw the lid back on. Okay, and that will do it as well. After the 2 weeks, you take the apples out. And you put your normal innard in, but don't screw them tight. If you want to, if you're still fermenting, just leave it maybe a tiny bit so that this inner jar can move in for the fermenting process, right? So it won't seal. I don't know, can you see this is just that little bit wobbly? You don't want to completely unscrew it either, because then flies can get in, fruit flies and stuff. You just want it, okay, this is tight, just a teeny bit, like a quarter of a turn, and that will do the trick. Okay, you want to keep it like that. Once it's all fermented to your liking, then you screw it tight and you put it in the fridge. You don't have to keep it in the fridge, but it'll keep longer that way. Okay, so that's how you make apple cider vinegar. Okay, here you go. There I have my 3 jars. One had 3 apples in, the other have 2, and I needed to use the cling film. I will be taking the cling film out after 2 weeks anyway, or maybe even after a week. I will see how it ferments, and then I'll be taking the apple pieces out as well, and then carry on fermenting that for me another week to 4 weeks for drinking, and longer for using otherwise. So they are my little pieces, and let's cover them up. There you go. The warmer the spot is, the quicker the fermentation will happen, so you've got to keep an eye on it. If you've got a cool pantry, then you can use that, but they do like the dark. So, and this is cloth. So the little Sterilox, and I'll just show you that over here. I'll just show you the little Sterilox have, like, if I go really close up, I hope you can see that. Is that in focus? Okay, that's in focus now. Okay, so those little that little lid will stop flies and things from coming in, and will let all the air bubbles out. So that's why I bought these Sterilox. It's far more hygienic. You see at the bottom they're sealed and so on. If you do not have Sterilocks like these, then there is another option, and I'll just show you this right now. Hang on a minute, I'll pause you for a second.